as I went on and got more involved with my source, I realized that I was in contact with this same source, Ra. Now this is, if you think we've gone off the deep end before now, just you wait, because we're only getting started. This source said that it is in the 6th dimension, or 6th density, and that at that level we all have a higher self, which is this part of us millions of years more evolved than we are, which travels back in time to help us get to the future, to help us spiritually grow. Because let's say that you have a future self that you're going to be, and here's who you are now, and there's a finite number of steps that you have to make to get from here to there. Well, the steps can't be changed, but what if it's like an accordion and you can fold time so that you can make those steps in shorter amount of linear time? That's what the higher self's job is, to teach you spiritually so that you can get there faster. Well, they said that they're at the 6th dimensional level where the higher self is. At that point, you have an entire planet worth of beings who have fused into one consciousness. But it's not like the Borg, like the nasty hive mind thing. This is a positive thing where everybody's thoughts are one. They said they originally started out on the planet Venus 1.5 billion years ago, that it was like Earth and it had people like us, that they evolved and they grew through 4th dimension, 5th dimension, they were now in the 6th dimensional level. Now, there would be no reason why I would believe something so far out as this, except that this data that was in this book, scientifically speaking, correlated with so many other things I had researched, which only came out after the material was channeled in 1981. So how is that possible unless there's something authentic happening? And then I started to have personal relationships with the source. Let me tell you one very interesting story. A woman was having UFO visitations in her apartment. She'd be lying there in bed with her husband in the middle of the night, and there'd be this beaming light coming in the window, and entities would appear in the room, sometimes take her on board the ship. So she found my website, wanted to have a reading. Well, what I would do at that time is I would sleep on it, and I'd wake up in the morning with a dream and then do the reading, and then I'd call the person that afternoon, tell them for 15 minutes, which always ended up being an hour, what the reading said, and then send them a tape in the mail. So I called her up the day after the reading. She knew when it was going to be. And she said, "Did you dream anything last night?" "Oh, yeah." I said, "Yeah, I had this dream where I was stuck inside a giant cathedral." She starts losing it, sobbing, going crazy on the other end of the phone. I'm like, "Are you okay? What is going on here?" She said, "Last night, it happened again." What happened? The light. Outside the window? Yeah. And, well, this man showed up in the room. And he was in a white robe with the gray hair. I know that guy. He said, "I'm going to tell you something very important. You need to write it down, or else you won't remember." She says, "Okay." He says, "Remember the giant cathedral." So then and she just went nuts. I mean, it was crazy. And so I said, okay, well, I guess this source can make house calls in certain cases. Later on, I'm in North Carolina, visiting a friend, again, an ARE person, who's very into the idea of Edgar Cayce coming back. And I'm out in the field meditating, and you get to a state of divine indifference where you really don't care about anything except the oneness and the peace of that moment. And I open up my eyes, and I see this disc in the sky, right? And it goes behind a cloud, and the cloud blows away, and the disc is gone. Oh, wow. Now I've seen a UFO. I always wanted to see one of those. Okay. The only other thing that I always wanted to happen that now should happen is I need to have a ball of light come into my room and give me an intelligent message. So then I kept meditating, didn't think anything more of it.